Have you ever felt like your life suddenly became a foreign setting? That the clothes you wear, the conversations you have, and even the name people call you by seem to belong to a stranger? If you're feeling this deep discomfort, as if the ground of your reality is disintegrating, know that you're not going crazy. You are being skinned alive by the universe itself. They told you awakening would be a gentle unfolding, a sunny morning of complete peace. They lied to you. True spiritual awakening is a magnificent catastrophe. It's the collapse of all the comfortable lies you told yourself just to survive. It's a process of loss, not gain. For the light to come in, every wall your ego built must be torn down, and that hurts. Most people begin this journey with excitement, but retreat as soon as they discover the price. Awakening demands that you die while still alive. It demands that you let go of who you think you are to discover who you've never stopped being. Many give up halfway, returning to deep sleep because the darkness of the process is vast. But you're still here. You feel that there's no going back, and that is the mark of the chosen one. There is an invisible map to this chaos, a set of 13 stages that turn pain into freedom. Identifying which stage you're in may be the difference between getting lost in the abyss or finally finding your way back home. I am George, and I'm here to walk beside you through these dark valleys and peaks of clarity. If you feel that your soul is seeking answers the ordinary world cannot provide, this space is yours. Please follow our channel now and join this community of seekers. Let's uncover together the stages of this journey that few succeed in, but that changes everything forever. Phase 1. The spiritual honeymoon. It all begins with an intoxicating glimpse. It is the moment when the veil is torn and you experience what lies beyond ordinary consciousness. Maybe during a meditation or in the silence of nature, the mind's barriers dissolve. For one glorious moment, the separate self disappears, and you feel an absolute union with the entire universe. In this phase, you feel invincible and deeply enlightened. The sacred books finally make sense, and every word from the masters seems addressed to you. It's the soul's sugar peak. You believe you've discovered the secret the world ignores. However, you haven't truly awakened yet. You've only received a business card from reality. This experience is intentionally fleeting. It serves only as a push, a fuel for what comes next. The real journey, the one that demands sacrifice and internal death, has not even begun. You're only at the entrance of the labyrinth, fascinated by the light at the door, unaware that the path ahead will require you to lose everything you are. Phase 2. The hangover and the chase. Suddenly, the light goes out, and you return to everyday consciousness. But now, routine feels like a restricted, unbearable prison. The ecstasy has dissipated, leaving behind a painful void. You've tasted real freedom, and now work, bills, and trivial conversations seem like gray lies. You become a seeker addicted to experiences. You try to chase that first state of grace with desperation. You repeat techniques, attend retreats, and reread the same books, hoping the magic will return. But something in you has changed permanently. Your old self has started to feel like a stranger. You look in the mirror and no longer recognize the person who accepted that limited and meaningless life. The ego, sensing mortal danger, begins whispering that it was all just imagination. This is a phase of agonizing conflict, where you feel trapped between two worlds. You no longer belong to common reality, but the freedom you tasted seems to have abandoned you in the desert. This is the beginning of the feeling of having no home on Earth anymore. Phase 3. Dissolution and panic. Real transformation is not about gaining something, but about losing what is old. In this phase, the dismantling begins in full force. Your solid beliefs, familiar patterns, and long-term friendships start to crumble without explanation. The ego realizes that awakening is its death sentence and reacts with desperate fury and panic. You are flooded with atrocious doubts and a desire to return to normal. You feel like a spectator watching someone else live your life. Many seekers retreat here, seeking comfort in old distractions. But the door has already closed behind you. The universe is removing all your external supports to test you. You are being prepared for absolute emptiness. Every layer of who you thought you were is being stripped away by the process. It's a period of deep instability, where security reveals itself as the greatest illusion. The chosen one begins to understand that for truth to emerge, the character they built must be reduced to total ashes. Phase 4. The dark night of the soul. The universe seems to abandon you completely. What was once ecstasy becomes an existential black hole where nothing makes sense. Your prayers feel empty, and meditation becomes a silent torment. You wonder if you made a terrible mistake by starting this path. The darkness is so dense you can't even remember why you began seeking. This phase is not a temporary setback. It can last months or years. It's the soul's winter, where the ego has nothing left to hold on to. Most seekers give up here and return to worldly distractions or dogmatic religions. They seek any relief from the terror of being nobody. The darkness demands a faith that borders on madness. Yet this dissolution is exactly what needs to happen. Your personal self is being crushed so that the eternal can shine through. There is no way to hasten the dawn. You must remain in the fire without trying to escape. It is in this absolute void that the roots of true consciousness begin to penetrate the earth, preparing the ground for an authentic life. Phase 5. The trap of the spiritual ego. When the darkness begins to lift, consciousness performs its most cunning trick. The ego puts on a spiritual robe. You emerge with a new identity, that of the enlightened one. Now you've mastered the terminology, read the masters, and see others' illusions with precision. Yet you remain completely blind to your own shadow, which is now stronger. This is the most dangerous phase because it feels very right. You are no longer a student. You've become the teacher. Your ego has simply swapped ordinary materialism for spiritual materialism. You start judging those who are asleep and build mental hierarchies where you sit at the top. Compassion is replaced by a subtle superiority that drives people away from you. The revealing sign of this trap is the loss of humility. True awakening dissolves the one who could feel awakened. But in this phase, the person has only gained a new, more sophisticated costume. A reality check is needed to realize you are still trapped, just in a prettier cell, filled with elevated spiritual concepts. Phase 6. Isolation and exile. Awakening brings a deep loneliness that no one warned you about. Your old friends can no longer reach you. Their complaints now sound like empty dramas from a stage play. When you try to share your vision, it comes across as condescending or insane. Your family mourns the loss of who you used to be, someone normal and predictable. You can't go back. It would be like trying to believe in Santa Claus again. The ordinary world now seems like a cardboard set, where everyone screams about unimportant things. Yet you haven't found your new tribe either. Most spiritual groups seem to be just playing ego games. You find yourself homeless between two worlds. This exile is the trial by fire for your autonomy. You must learn to walk without external validation and without the comfort of social belonging. Loneliness reveals whether your peace depends on others' approval or if it is born from your own essence. It's the price of seeing clearly. Many times, the chosen one must remain alone. Phase 7. Addiction to gurus and authorities. In the desert of loneliness, a seductive temptation arises. The perfect teacher. Someone who speaks with absolute authority, offers maps for your confusion, and promises to lead you to the final destination. After feeling lost for so long, this external clarity feels like salvation itself. You hand over your will to the Master, believing you found the ultimate shortcut to the light. But here lies a cruel irony. By appointing an external authority, you interrupt your own awakening. You've only transferred your dependency from the material world to a spiritual figure. Instead of trusting your inner knowing, you begin seeking the guru's approval. You become a spiritual slave, addicted to transmissions, blessings, and validations from outside. True masters are rare because they become unnecessary. They point the way back to you and then step aside. Sophisticated systems, on the other hand, create dependence, inventing new levels and initiations to keep you trapped in their business model. The chosen one must have the courage to kill the inner master to finally be born as the authority of their own life. Phase 8. The complete collapse of meaning. At this stage, the chosen one enters a territory where nothing, absolutely nothing, seems to matter. It's not common sadness, but overwhelming neutrality. Love, purpose, beauty, and even suffering become equally empty and weightless. You lose the very ability to believe in any concept because you see the void behind all things. To an outsider, this may seem like deep depression, but the nature of this experience is different. Depression still cares about pain and loss. It's a heavy emotional state. The collapse of meaning is, in fact, the death of the one who could care. It's a cosmic indifference, where you observe life without any attachment. You can look at a sunset or a personal tragedy with the same emotional distance. It's not that you've become cruel or cold, since cruelty still requires personal intention. You've simply fallen into the abyss of absolute neutrality. It's the moment when the mind gives up trying to find meaning in existence. Many seekers break here and become spiritual zombies. They remain functionally absent from life, stuck in a kind of living death. They are technically alive, but the spark of engagement with the world seems extinguished. It's a dangerous transitional stage where the old self has already died, but the new being hasn't yet been born. However, this void is not the end of the road. It is the fertile soil from which authentic life can finally emerge. It is necessary to exhaust all search for external meaning, so that the mystery of existence can reveal itself on its own. The chosen one must cross this desert of indifference to discover that life doesn't need meaning to be sacred. Phase 9. The dive into the fertile void. Most people recoil in horror before the abyss of non-existence, but the chosen one reaches a point where there is no option but to dive in. This is the stage of the fertile void. You realize your personality was just a collection of stories and memories maintained by sheer habit. Now, you're willing to completely die to the known. It takes a level of courage bordering on madness to let go of the last anchors of identity. You stop trying to be someone spiritual or special and accept your own annihilation. In this dive, you discover the void is not a sterile nothingness, but the vibrant source of all creation. It's the darkness of the womb before the birth of light. Diving into the void means relinquishing all control over the process. You stop trying to survive awakening and allow the universe to do whatever is necessary with you. In that total surrender, consciousness begins to operate without the ego's filter. You stop being the captain of the ship and realize you are the ocean itself. The resistance finally ends because there is no one left to resist. It's a phase of deep silence, where words lose their use and silence becomes your only home. You dwell in the space between thoughts, the pause between breaths. It is in this state of emptiness that the eternal begins to recognize itself through you. The ego's survival ceases to be the journey's goal. You understand that what you feared losing was only a fiction, a mask that consciousness temporarily wore. By accepting the void, you become invincible, because there's nothing left to be taken from someone who has already given up owning their own life. Phase 10. Spiritual emergency and psychosis. Sometimes the psyche cannot handle the speed of dissolution. What doctors call psychosis, mystics recognize as a spiritual emergency. It's the moment when expanded consciousness overwhelms the mind, shattering thought patterns. The boundaries between the self and the world dissolve catastrophically, and ordinary reality becomes incomprehensible. In this phase, you may hear voices, see invisible patterns, or feel energies others ignore. Consensus reality seems like a ridiculous shadow theater, but you have no ground yet to stabilize in the new dimension. It's like being trapped between two worlds, unable to function in either. The medical system will try to medicate you back to normal. Your family panics and seeks professional help, fearing you've lost your mind for good. In a way, they're right. You've lost linear reason, but you're accessing a much greater intelligence. The danger is losing the thread and being unable to integrate these experiences into practical life. It's a stage of extreme vulnerability and disorientation. Those who survive this rupture discover that the collapse of their mental structures created space for a more flexible way of being. They learn to navigate between mystery and routine without losing balance. However, the price is high. One must endure the terror of seeing their own mind shatter as if made of glass. Spiritual emergency is the ultimate test of consciousness's stability. If the seeker can remain as a silent witness to the chaos, they emerge transformed. The mind does not return to what it was. It becomes a broader, more refined instrument. Spiritual psychosis is, at its core, the process of breaking the shell so that the soul can finally fly. Phase 11. The laughter of the cosmic joke. If you're lucky enough to survive the complete dissolution and the abyss of meaninglessness, something miraculous happens. You begin to laugh. It's not a laugh of scorn, but a liberating laugh that rises from deep within as you realize the cosmic joke of the whole process. You look back and see decades of effort, sacrifice, and endless spiritual seeking, only to discover you were trying to reach what you never lost. The joke is realizing that the seeker, the path, and the destination were the same thing all along. You strove to arrive at a place where you already were, trying to become someone you always were. Spiritual seriousness collapses. You realize that consciousness was merely playing hide and seek with itself, using your life as the stage for this magnificent divine play. In this phase, uncertainty stops being a burden and becomes a return home. You discover that you know absolutely nothing, and that not knowing is the deepest freedom there is. There is no longer a need to defend concepts or prove enlightenment. The weight of carrying a spiritual identity is finally dropped, and you feel light as a child who has just woken from a complicated dream. The humility that arises here is real and unshakable. You see that every mistake, every fall, and every moment of darkness were necessary threads in the tapestry of your life. The laughter comes because you realize you took seriously a game that was never meant to be won, only played. Life is no longer a problem to be solved, but a mystery to be celebrated. You stop trying to save the world or yourself. The urgency to awaken disappears because you see that everything, in essence, is already perfect as it is. This laughter washes away the last remnants of spiritual pride and prepares you for the final phase, the descent back to earth, where holiness wears the robe of absolute normality. Phase 12. The simplicity of the extraordinary. Ordinary. After the storms of awakening, you reach the phase of absolute simplicity. Awakening didn't turn you into a superhuman. It revealed how sacred the ordinary is. There's no more constant ecstasy, dramatic visions, or final understandings. There is only this moment, this body, this breath. You discover that awakening isn't something to be achieved, but something you stop preventing. The chosen one now walks through the world invisibly. He may be the baker, the teacher, or the bus driver. He carries out his tasks with such vast presence that the personal self no longer interferes. Life flows through him with perfect spontaneity. You discover that true enlightenment is simply being an ordinary person who, by chance, is free from themselves. The compassion that arises here is not a moral effort, but a direct recognition. You look at others and see yourself disguised behind different masks and pains. There's no longer a desire to heal others, only to be present with them. The feeling of separation has died. You are life living itself, without the need for comments or spiritual labels. You stop seeking special states. Washing the dishes becomes as sacred as meditating in a cave. The dichotomy between sacred and profane disappears completely. Everything that arises is consciousness in motion. Peace is no longer a feeling of calm, but the unconditional acceptance of whatever the present moment brings, whether a joy or a passing pain. This is the stage where the chosen one returns to the marketplace with empty hands, as the Zen tradition says. You have nothing to prove and nothing to sell. Your presence teaches more than 1,000 speeches. You inhabit the world with a lightness that comforts those around you, being a silent reminder that peace has always been here, waiting to be noticed in the midst of everyday life. Phase 13. The home that was never left. The final phase is the realization that the spiritual journey ends exactly where it began, in the heart of now. But there's a fundamental difference. Now there's no one left to claim credit for the journey. The you who began the path, the you who wanted to survive and become enlightened, has finally died. What remains is eternal, intelligent and playful life, operating through a human body. You realize that personal survival was never the goal of the universe. The journey was a process of total disidentification. What you feared losing was just a collection of stories and memories. What survived? Nothing and everything. Thoughts still arise, but there's no owner of them. Emotions come and go, but there's no central controller holding or rejecting them. Consciousness realizes it never left home. You have always been this vast space where everything happens. The search ends because you see you were looking for water while swimming in the ocean. The treasure wasn't at the end of the path. You've been sitting on it, your entire existence. The search was only the movement of consciousness, exploring the illusion of being lost. This recognition is the most natural thing in the world. There is no longer the chosen one, separate from the world. There is only aliveness. You understand that life is an infinite game of getting lost and being found. And in that reunion, the duality between seeker and sought collapses once and for all. You are the light. You are the eye that sees, and you are what is seen. Welcome home, from where you never truly left. The journey ends in the silence of a full smile. You are free to be human, free to play, free to love. The mystery remains, but now you are the mystery itself. Life continues its course in perfect harmony, and you rest in the certainty that everything is and always has been exactly where it's meant to be. We have reached the end of a journey that, in truth, never ends. Going through these stages is not a race to get somewhere, but the slow collapse of everything you are not. If you identified with the loneliness of exile, the void of meaninglessness, or the laughter of the cosmic joke, know that every pain and every collapse were necessary. The universe is not destroying you. It is merely removing what prevents you from being light. Awakening is the act of dying to the old self and being born into life as it is, extraordinarily simple and ordinary. Now the chosen one no longer seeks the extraordinary, for they have discovered that holiness is in every breath and every act of surrender. You are no longer alone, for you are now part of the very life that pulses through everything. I am George, and it has been an honor to walk with you through these valleys and peaks of the soul. Your story is what gives life to this channel. Please comment below. Which of these phases do you feel you are in now? Your sharing is a beacon for others still walking through the darkness. See you in the next awakening.